Ahoy hoy fellow bookworms, my name is Caroline and I like to read books, so let's talk about them. Today's video is going to be a bunch of comic and manga recommendations because in case you missed it, I recently got a new bookshelf and I put like all my comics and mangas and graphic novels on it, and it's just really put me in the mood to talk about them, so that's what I'm gonna do. First recommendation is the Walking Dead comic series by Robert Kirkman, which is an ongoing series that I think is up to like volume 28 or something now, so it is a big commitment, but I definitely think it's worth it. Obviously this is the source material for the AMC TV show of the same name, and as I've read these comics I've ended up much preferring them to the TV show because things in this are just done so much better. The TV show a lot of the time did things in a quite hokey fashion and things were quite ham-fisted, whereas in these comics I think things are just so much better in general. All the plot points are so much smoother, the character development is much better, and just in general things are better. There's a lot to love about this series. The art style is really great. Things are in black and white, which is a good choice because I think if it was in colour then the blood and gore and stuff would be a little bit too much. But the characters' faces always convey so much emotion, and I think in certain moments that's really amazing and actually made me tear up at times when the dialogue and the characters' faces kind of combined to make things really, really powerful. It can get a little scary and dark at times, but it also has these really nice moments of lightness between characters when their friendships are really lovely and strong. So I just think it's a really great series that I'm enjoying reading as it goes, and I just love it so much, so I really highly recommend it. If you've watched any of my other videos, this next recommendation will probably come as no surprise to you, and it's the Saga comic series by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. At the moment this series is 7 volumes long and it is just so fucking good. Saga is the story of Alana and Marco, who are on opposing sides of this never-ending galactic war, but then they meet and fall in love and have a baby together and end up just on the run trying to build this fragile life together, and it's so amazing, it's so funny, the humor in this is absolutely amazing. The story is really interesting because it's told kind of retrospectively from the perspective of their child, and it's just really an interesting way to tell a story, but I actually love it. The art is so fun and so colourful, but what's really interesting is how attached you get to the characters. It is a very funny series, so it's kind of surprising that you get so attached to the characters. It's awesome. I love it so much. As the series goes, it kind of goes up and down a little bit. I think around volume 4 it hits a bit of a lull, but then volume 7 was probably my favourite of the whole series. Oh, it's so good. Next up is Fullmetal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa. This is a 27 volume manga series, so again, it's a pretty big commitment, but you can get it in like the 3-in-1 edition, so then it's only 9 in a series, so I guess that works out better. This is just such an amazing series, which I binge read like 2 months ago and absolutely fell in love with, and I actually did a full series review of it, which I'll leave the link to in case you guys are interested. In this series, we follow the Elric brothers, Edward and Alphonse, who are alchemists, and in a transmutation gone wrong, Edward lost an arm and a leg, and Alphonse became a soul bound to a suit of armor, and throughout this series they are trying to get their original bodies back, and obviously a lot more than that happens over the course of 27 volumes, but that's really all you should go into this knowing. But it's just such a fun series. There's a really great humor in it. The banter between the two brothers is hilarious. There's really great villains, really great art. The Elric brothers are awesome, but there's also this huge cast of other characters that you just fall in love with. The plot is really complex and watching it all come together is so much fun. So it's an amazing series that I highly recommend. My next manga recommendation is one of my all-time favorites, and it's one that I really don't feel like gets enough attention in general, and it's Orange by Ichigo Takano. One of the really excellent things about Orange is that there's only 2 volumes in it, which I feel like is really rare for a manga. This is the story of our main character Naho, who on her first day of 11th grade gets his letter from herself 10 years in the future saying there's a new guy starting in your class today, but in the future he's no longer with us, so watch over him, and she kind of does so tentatively, and the story goes from there. I don't think I've ever cried as much in a comic or manga as I did while I was reading Orange. It fucked me up so bad. It's like a sci-fi drama romance, but what it's really about is friendship, and it's also all about depression and suicide, so that's something people should definitely know going into it, that it does really touch on that. But it's just an amazing story. It's so emotional. I loved the friendship between the characters. I really enjoyed the art. I loved it so much. I did think that the second volume wasn't quite as good as the first, but it was still absolutely amazing, and I didn't think I would enjoy a romancy story as much as I did, but I love it to pieces. It's just so good. I love it. The final recommendation I have for this video is the Death Note series by Tsugumi Ohba. Death Note is a complete series which is 12 volumes long, but I collected it in the 2-in-1 Death Note Black edition, so I have 6 of these. This is quite a popular series and there are quite a few adaptations out there, some good and some bad. But for those of you who don't know, Death Note follows our 17-year-old main character Light Yagami, who is a high school student, and he has picked up a Death Note which has been dropped by one of the gods of death. And basically, if he writes a person's name inside that Death Note, then that person will die. So Light kind of takes it upon himself to start killing criminals and tidying up the world and stuff like that. And then there's this detective who goes by the name of L, who's trying to find out who's behind all these mysterious deaths, and it becomes this game of cat and mouse where the two are trying to catch each other. And it's so interesting, it's so clever and so much fun. It's a really great series. I do think that over the course of the series it kind of goes up and down in terms of excitement levels, but the payoff is so good. I love this series and it's just so good. I love the art in Death Note and I love that it was always so detailed because I felt like it added so much to the series, and I really loved the dialogue and the characters and just everything about it. It was so interesting and intricate and a really great series. That brings us to the end of this video though, guys. If you have some comic and manga recommendations, be sure to leave them down in the comments. I upload videos Wednesdays, Saturdays, and sometimes Mondays as well, so be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Toodaloo!